Hello and welcome back everybody to the last I promise video on Calibrate. Now this is going to be a slightly shorter video because we're going to be covering combining two aspects of what we learned so far, which is one, the file access block, and two, our Calibrate program. So there's one issue with this Calibrate program. Yes, it drives over lines perfectly well. It detects the highest and lowest values and it plugs it back in to our robot to use for later purposes. But if we re-download the program, all your previous values are going to be deleted. So how do we make sure we can save the file or save the numbers that the Calibrate has picked up and put it somewhere where we can't lose it unless we choose to? Well, here's where the file read block actually comes in useful. To do this, and since you've hopefully checked out my video on the file access block, it's pretty simple. So at the end of your calibrate, I have my auto-calibrate right here. You're going to place a file access block. So what this file access block does is, of course, it saves the value to a file, an exportable file, whether that be Notepad, whether that be Word, or any file you choose. It will be able to save either a text or numeric block. That's basically the recap of how the block works. Now, you can see here, of course, you have the options. Of course, set it to write, and you have a text here. So now what you want to do is you want to save both the high and the low values. So I want you to have two file access blocks right here, just so you can save both in. So name the first one low, and name the second one high. You don't really care about capitals, just make it easy to remember and make it easy so you know like what the spelling is so you don't save it in the wrong file. Of course, plug the low into low and plug the high into high. Now what you've done is you've saved the files. So far though, these files don't exist. So along with setting up your variables, you also want to save or set up your file access blocks. So I'm going to set up high and low at the very beginning of our program. You're going to do a write high and you're going to do a write low. Make sure they're the exact same spelling, and now you set them up. Now, you should remember that after every single time you open the file, you should also close the file. So go to File Access, and since we want to be able to delete this value if our calibrate didn't work properly, you're going to put it after your wait for break bumped. This way you can confirm whether or not the values are correct before saving them and overriding your previous ones. So you're just going to close both of these, which is high and then low. Alright, that's how you do it. At the very beginning of the program, however, you want to delete it because we're assuming every single time you run your calibrate, you have new values, or you've moved the field, you have different lighting conditions. Whatever the reason, you're probably going to want new values. So you want to pull out two more file access blocks, and before anything happens, you're going to delete what's already in them. So this is what I was talking about when I said you can control when your files are deleted and when they are reopened. Of course, rename it. I have forgotten that. But now, whenever you rerun your auto-calibrate, the robot automatically decides, well, you're probably on a new field, you're probably in a different lighting condition. Let's delete the previous values because that's just going to mess us up in the future. So now if we run this, we should actually be able to run and see the values on a Word document or a Notepad document. Let's do that right now. I'm going to run the same program as we did before, the auto-calibrate. And the only thing we've changed so far in this video is saving to file access block. We, of course, know what this calibrate does. It runs over the block line, it sees the lowest low value and the highest high value and saves it to our variables. Now, in addition to saving it to the variable block, it also saves to our file access block. And so by confirming the value, like our program says, it will save it to the file access block. Now we can do whatever we want with the program. We can clear the memory. That file access is still going to be saved. If we change the brightness like we do now, we are able to rerun the program and it will completely rewrite the file access block because we have the delete function at the beginning of the program. So I'm going to run it again. And after we do this, I'm going to go to the computer and we're going to see what values we get out of this through Notepad. The last thing we do now is we're going to open the file access block. You should know how to do this. Go to the brick information, go into memory browser, and you can see exactly where we've saved our values, which are high and low. Click into your FLL project, which is the project I have here, and you should see high.rtf and low.rtf. I want you to open both of those. You can do them one at a time. So I'm going to upload, first of all, the low, and we'll see if this low is accurate, and we're going to upload the high and see if it's accurate as well. Of course, here we are on the Mindstorm CV3 Projects tab, and we're going to open both of our files. I'm going to, of course, still open it in Notepad because it's just quicker and easier, at least for me. Now, of course, our low value is going to be around 0 to 20 range. This means that we've saved our files correctly. And we see here we have a 1 in our Notepad. This means the black value, or the darkest value that we've saw is 1. That is completely correct. Next, let's go to high, do the exact same thing. I'm going to open with Notepad, and we get 100. That's basically the whitest white value, or the highest high value. If you check the variables, I guarantee they will be the exact same as before. So whenever you're making any new program that requires something from this Calibrate program, you not only have to go to your variables, but you can also go to your file access block and override your variables. Let's just say here, for some reason, I wanted a low value. We can shift this to low, we can change the file name to our low saved in our file access block, go to read numeric, and we can plug it directly into our variables. So we no longer have to rely on our values being saved in variable blocks that can easily be overridden, they can be deleted, whatever like nonsense can happen to them doesn't happen anymore with our file access block, just like we used before. So this is a practical use for the block that you've learned about, hopefully from my previous videos. Thank you everybody for sticking around to the end of the last Calibrate video in our FLL must-have series. So today you learned how to save your values into file access and how to use file access as the main block that you save values into. We've discussed why it's better than variable blocks. We've discussed how useful they can be, particularly within an FLL program. And lastly, we've used them in our programs before. Next week, we're going to be shifting gears a little bit into actual robot movement. Drifting or not stopping properly or going over where you want it to be. We're going to be solving that next episode on my FLL must-have series, which is getting your robot to drive straight without the use of any sensors besides the built-in motor sensors. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content just like this and be notified when my new video is up. Be sure to like and comment on this video. It really helps me so much. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time on FLL Must-Haves. Bye-bye.